Meanwhile, we're also covering the lead up to the 2024 election. The Republican National Committee has laid out qualifications for the first primary debate in late August in Milwaukee, but the requirements are not sitting well with all of the candidates. In order to take the stage, a candidate must have at least 1% voter approval in at least 3 national polls. They must have a minimum of 40,000 unique donors and pledge to support whoever is the party's eventual nominee. One of those GOP candidates, Republican presidential candidate, conservative radio host Larry Elder, not really feeling the stipulations. He's with me now. Larry, why are you saying this is rigged?
Well, I don't really believe it's rigged. I believe that it's onerous. For example, in 2020, the Democrats allowed people to participate in the debates if they had 1% in the polls or a certain number of individual donors. In the case of the RNC, they're requiring both 1% plus a certain number of individual donors. So I think it's a little onerous, but I think rather than complaining about it, I'm going to work hard to make sure I meet that criteria. I want to get up there in the debate stage in Milwaukee in August and talk about, of course, the obvious issues, the economy, inflation, and crime. But I also want to talk about the lie that America is systemically racist, the vital need for school choice in urban America, where, for example, Adrienne, 53 public schools in Chicago, 0% of the kids can do math at grade level, I kid you not, and the 10,000-pound elephant in the room, which is the epidemic of fatherlessness that we don't talk enough about.
You know what? First of all, I'm sure there are a lot of people who have an opinion about everything you just said. It was a mouthful, but fatherlessness, I would agree with you, is something that we're not giving enough attention to. But when you look at those discrepancies, those students who aren't meeting the standards, if it's not systemic, what is it? What's to blame?
Oh, my goodness. It's the failure of our urban public schools. 85% of Black 8th graders, according to the National Report Card, are neither math nor reading proficient. This is an absolute scandal. And if you look at public school teachers, where they send their own kids, many of them send their own kids to private schools. Nationwide, 10% of us have our kids in private schools. In Philadelphia, among public school teachers with school-age kids, 49% of them have their own kids in private schools. The people who know the system, the best teachers, aren't putting their own kids in it. What does that tell you? We need school choice. Urban Americans, Black and brown, they want school choice. The Democrats, wetted at the hip with the teachers union, are adamantly opposed to it. This is a scandal. It's an outrage.
I love that we're able to talk about some of your platform, your agenda items, but let's get back to this RNC debate really quickly here. The RNC chair, Ron McDaniel, is saying that this criteria that, you have to have a ranking of 1% voter approval in multiple polls, it puts the nominee and the party in the best position to take back the White House. Don't you agree that with so many candidates for the nomination, there has to be some kind of pre-qualifier to whittle down the number of people on the debate stage?
No question. That's why I'm asking people to go to elderforpresident.com. I need 40,000 individual donors. The amount donated can be as small, Adrienne, as $1. Help me get up there. Again, I'm repeating what I said earlier. All I'm saying is it seems a bit onerous. The DNC allowed you to either have 1% or a certain number of individual donors. The RNC is requiring both things. So I just think it's a little bit onerous. But rather than complain about it, I'm going to work hard to make sure I meet that criteria. Once I get up there, game on, hold my beer.
You're fighting hard to get on that stage. Meanwhile, former President Trump is saying he may opt out of the debates. And I think a lot of people don't understand why he still has support among Republicans. Can you yourself explain why he is so able and qualified to run for the presidency again, even after this latest federal indictment?
Well, I'd be the biggest hypocrite in the world if I criticized him for opting out on the debates. I ran for governor of California, as you know, and I didn't participate in any of the Republican debates because I felt we'd be involved in a circular firing squad, and the target was Gavin Newsom. Similarly, the target is Biden-Harris, not the other Republicans. So I have no problem whatsoever whether Donald Trump shows up or not. I know I'm going to be there. And I believe he's got a strong record to run on. If I felt that he was both nominatable and electable, Adrienne, you and I would not be having this conversation. I think there are so many swing voters in swing states who would not vote for the man if he walked on water. In fact, if he did, they'd accuse him of not being able to swim. I have no idea what to do about Trump derangement syndrome, but it presents a problem, and that problem is called electability. That's why I want to get up there in that debate stage in Milwaukee and make my case that I'm that guy.
You're speaking at a faith conference today in D.C. Obviously, faith is very important to you. But the media often just lumps evangelicals, that term kind of losing some of its steam, into a crucial category, but still largely misunderstood, even voiceless for a lot of the reporting that we've seen over the years. Are Americans who prioritize their faith when voting even more powerful this coming election?
Well, I think that that the evangelical part of the Republican base has always been powerful, probably even more powerful now since Roe v. Wade has been overturned.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.